This is dedicated to the homies that was down since day one. Welcome to Drop D.
Welcome, guys, to Quick Hits, a JFK assassination research and study news and notes podcast. My name is Doug Campbell, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host from the Lone Gunman podcast, Mr. Rob Clark. Hello, Rob. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Doug? Pleasure to be back here with a new microphone and all that's background noise. We'll see.
We have a brand new
Folks,
microphone.
No.
Yeah. A brand new microphone, less background noise, and the same old laggy-ass Wi-Fi. Oh, me. How you been, man?
No, not too bad. Getting another older, another year in podcasting, yeah, not old and gray yet, not that. So,
man, I'm getting there. I told somebody the other day, like 3 years ago, this hair around on my face was black. It's not black anymore. It's almost white, dude. Wow, it was fast. It was really fast.
I know I'm knocking on 50's door now.
Oh, dude, I left 50 2 years ago. 2 years ago, in the rearview mirror. Well, hey, dude, guess what? There have been many developments in the world of JFK assassination research and study. We've got a few things to talk about. How about we dive right in, man?
Yeah, man, let's get right into it.
Right into it. Now, Rob, as you are aware, and as no doubt all of our listeners are aware, back this past year, the Mary Farrell Foundation filed a lawsuit in United States District Court against President Joseph Biden and NARA, the National Archives and Records Administration, in an effort to compel executive branch compliance with the JFK Records Act. And we have some developments, Rob. We have updates. Really, for real, some shit has actually happened.
I want to hear about it because I think I know what you're going to get into, but I have not even glanced or went in depth, so I'm interested.
Well, I'm going to do something I've never done before, man. I'm actually going to read something that I'm not sure. Well, no, I've done this before. I was about to say, read something that I'm not sure that I understand, but I've done that 100,000 fucking times on a podcast, right? But I'm going to do it again in that we are going to read a rebuttal. See, on February 6th of this year, the U.S. Department of Justice actually responded to the Mary Farrell Foundation website. Oh, listen, an aside here, Rob, and I may have mentioned this before, but the Mary Farrell Foundation, a lot of times we abbreviate it as MFF. Guys, look, if you Google search, if you're looking for the Mary Farrell Foundation or the lawsuit, don't Google search MFF. You're going to get something completely fucking different than the Mary Farrell Foundation, okay? That's not what you're going to want to see, I promise. You know what I'm talking about?
I can only imagine.
Yeah. You'll be like, no, that's not documents. Okay. On February 6th of this year, the U.S. Department of Justice responded with a motion, Rob, to dismiss. According to this motion, signed by one Brian Boynton, Deputy Assistant Attorney General, I'm going to read some of this. They object to the lawsuit on many grounds. It says here in the motion to dismiss that plaintiffs, that would be the Mary Farrell Foundation, assert 5 claims in their complaint. The complaint first, that the president acted something called ultra vires when, in the Biden memorandum, he postponed the 25-year deadline for disclosure of assassination records by allegedly, quote, using criteria that do not appear in the act, failing to describe identifiable harms from disclosure on a record-by-record basis, and failing to provide a description of the reason for such continued postponement for each assassination record. Now, if you remember, Bill Simbich actually talked about that on Quick Hits, that according to him and the way that they read the JFK Act, you may remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they are required every time they postpone a document to read the reason in the congressional record, according to Bill Simbich, right?
Yes.
And according to the Justice Department, that is not true. Second, the plaintiffs assert a mandamus claim against President Biden, contending that he had a ministerial non-discretionary duty to comply with the procedural requirements of the JFK Records Act, and that his alleged failure to do so entitles them to mandamus relief against the president. Third, plaintiffs allege that NARA violated the Administrative Procedures Act by its implementation of the Biden memoranda and continued withholding of postponed assassination records because plaintiffs allege the Biden memoranda, quote, violated the express terms of the act. Fourth, plaintiff seeks mandamus relief against NARA for its alleged violation of two, quote, ministerial non-discretionary duties. The plaintiff's final claim is that NARA has violated the Federal Records Act by failing to request that the Attorney General initiate action or otherwise seek legal redress for documents that plaintiffs alleged have not been searched for but are missing. And they sum this up by saying the plaintiff's allegations here do not come close to demonstrating that the president acted ultra vires. And that means, ultra vires means, according to the internet, it means acting beyond one's authority. And plaintiffs contend that the president violated the requirements of the JFK Records Act because he relied on, quote, criteria that do not appear in the act, failed to certify the existence of an identifiable harm on a record basis, and failed to provide an unclassified written description of the reasons for continuing the postponement of public disclosure for each assassination records. These contentions are all incorrect. So they're just basically saying that's all bullshit. But I thoroughly disagree.
I do too. It should be interesting to see how this all plays out. And just how far-reaching the power is to be actually get the things done. So, I hope it doesn't get out. It would be total bullshit if it wasn't out. Because they have violated the act. I mean, it's right there for everyone to see.
Right there for everyone to see. If you read through this motion, the motion kind of, it seems like they consistently say, no, it's the agencies, not the president. It's like this part here, Section 6, sets forth the standard agencies must meet to postpone individual records, and that provision does not obligate the president to do anything at all, let alone anything to effectuate a postponement of the 25-year deadline contained in Section 5. The JFK Act does not require the president to reach conclusions about individual records, whether he decides to postpone the Act's 25-year release deadline. And plaintiff's claim to the contrary lacks any support in the statute. And read that again. The JFK Act does not require the president to reach conclusions about individual records, whether he decides to postpone the Act's 25-year release deadline. And basically, the way I read this is, you know what? He can postpone it as many times as long as he wants. There's not a fucking thing you can do about it. Or am I reading that wrong?
I wonder if the president, even though the CA says, hey, we need more time. If the president has the authority to say, you know what, fuck you, you're out of time. All records will be released, you like it or not, on this date. I wonder if he has that power.
One would think. I mean, they assert that he has the power to do the contrary. Why wouldn't he have the power to do that? Okay.
Enforce the JFK Act. Say, hey, no, look, you got had long enough. It's been 5 years past the date. We're done with the delays. All records will be released on April the 21st, 2023, and that's it. Go get them ready,
Yeah, but will he? Would he? And I think that's basically what you hit it right on the nail, hit the nail right on the head. I think that's what the Mary Farrell Foundation foundation is trying to do, is trying to get the president to enforce the JFK Act. You know, like, do your fucking job. You know, instead of kicking the can down the road, coming up with excuses. And I think you simplified that as well as anyone can. Just enforce the damn law, Joe, right. Or, you know, whoever turns out to be. Whoever. And you know what, Rob? You, sir, provided the perfect segue, because there is one person out there in the United States government, and this is our breaking news, who is actually trying to get them to enforce the law. We have a special report breaking one good guy out there. One good guy. We have one lawmaker who has actually put a law forth about the JFK Records Act. And this is from the Mary Farrell Foundation on February 6, 2023. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong thing. Where did it go? Where did that guy go? Oh, here it is. I found it. Sorry about that. This is from Congress.gov, Rob. House Resolution 637. The JFK Act of 2023 has been introduced by Representative David Schweikert, Republican, Arizona District 1, in the committees. Did you
say David Schweikert?
Schweikert with a T.
Schweikert.
Yeah, I did a double take, too. I was like, what? Maybe? No. I thought maybe. Yeah.
No.
I thought the same thing you did. In the committees, Oversight and Accountability, Judiciary, Ways and Means, Foreign Affairs, Armed Services, Intelligence, Permanent Select. It is referred to the committee on all these committees, but he's calling it the Justice for John F. Kennedy Act, guys. In the 118th Congress, H.R. 637 from Representative Schweikert of Arizona to direct the heads of certain departments and agencies of the federal government to publicly disclose all assassination records and information relevant to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy and for other purposes. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America. Section 1, short title. This is not a very long law at all, Rob. Section 1, short title. This act may be cited as the Justice for Kennedy Act of 2023, or JFK Act of 2023. That's pretty clever, huh, Rob?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with short, though.
Yeah. Oh, it is short, dude, and you don't get very many of those. Basically,
that's what she said.
That's what she said. What was it? We were looking the other day, man. We had a kitchen cabinet like around the corner here at the studio that was like wobbly, and there was a screw missing. And I said it's a tiny screw, and the guy behind me goes, "Man, I would hate to be described as that, wouldn't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would, absolutely. That would be awful." But Section 2, public disclosure of assassination records and information related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, no later than 30 days after the date of the enactment of this act. Each covered federal official shall publicly disclose in unclassified and unredacted form any assassination record and information relevant to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in the control or possession of such covered federal official.
I like it.
Everything, dude.
30 days. That's all you get, motherfuckers.
That's right. 30 days. And that's exactly what you were asking about not 5 minutes ago, right? Can somebody just say, hey, here's your deadline, drop dead date. If you don't like it, fuck off, give us the documents. That's it. Disclosure. Oh, I read that part. Relation to other law, each covered federal official shall carry out one paragraph notwithstanding the following. The presidential memorandum of December 15th, 2022, basically, disregard that. A lot of other things that it would override here. Let's see. A request for disclosure of assassination records pursuant to a petition under subparagraph A, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's what we got going on. The term covered federal official, according to Representative Schweikert in H.R. 637, is the Archivist of the United States, the Commissioner of Internal Revenue, Rob, which means we'd get Oswald's tax records.
IRS, yeah.
Yeah. The Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, the Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, State Department stuff. Now,
nice.
I'm thinking, you know what? We need to also cover Customs. All right? Because of all the shit going on.
Secret Service.
Secret Service. Why isn't that in there? Right? Now, Secretary of Defense, would that include...
They already burned all the shit. That's why they're not in there.
You think that would include like the NSA and other agencies like that? The Secretary of Defense? I don't know. But, you know, what about Border Patrol, man? You remember, well, I don't know if you remember, but I did a show with the Dallas Action talking about discussing a Border Patrol guy that would sometimes be attached to help the FBI watch these Cuban exile groups. And he swore up and down that the Border Patrol more than once surveilled Ferry and Oswald together. And he was like, you guys need to look for those records. You know, they probably still have them. There was somebody else that yeah, you're right though. Secret Service definitely needs to be to be included in that. So guys, find out the representatives. A companion bill in the Senate would be nice. So for sure, but find out who those people are on those committees that can effectuate the implementation of Senator Schweikert's proposed H.R. 637. Write them letters, send them emails, call them on the fucking phone, tell them to do this. Please.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And while you're at it, I mean, how about a bill where we don't have to jump through so many hoops at NARA? Right, Rob?
Yeah, it's just getting to the point of ridiculousness.
Oh my God!
With NARA and trying to get documents, and it's Malcolm Blunt will be rolling in his grave, but thankfully he's not in it yet.
I almost said, "Oh God, he did it again!" No, not on this show, dude, for real. I want to share something with you. Rob is not exaggerating when he's talking about trying to get documents out of the National Archives. Our friend Michael Swanson forwarded me an email the other day, Rob, and this is the last thing I have in regard to the documents and everything. And he forwarded me an email response from NARA. He was trying to set up an appointment to actually go to the archives and look for certain documents, right? This is their response. This was just last week, I think. Yeah, last week. Thank you for contacting the Textual Reference Branch at the National Archives. We will assign your request to a staff member who will contact you with a more substantive response. Due to the number of reference requests received, including advance consultation requests, and the limitation of staff time available to answer correspondence, requests may take longer than usual. Our research room is open by appointment only. At this stage in our reopening, we are scheduling visits no more than 3 months in advance, as we are closely monitoring local public health metrics due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And when
Is that still going on? Is that still a thing? I mean,
dude, it was a month ago that Uncle Joe called off the public health emergency.
Yeah, I think we're done with COVID, except in the archives.
Apparently, you got a lot of people that touch those files and don't wash their hands or something. Get this, dude. Some more hoops. 1 cart of records may be pulled in advance if accurate and complete information is provided when a research appointment is scheduled. Please visit archives to at nara.gov with the citations for the records you would like to view, including record group number, entry number, series title, and container numbers. When confirming your appointment, please note that due to the high demand of ad hoc day of pulls, advanced pulls are not guaranteed. It is recommended that you schedule a virtual consultation prior to scheduling a research appointment, particularly if you do not know the specific boxes you would like to request. And then there's a whole different website for or thing for the virtual reference consultant. Please monitor our webpage for details and updates as the situation can change quickly. So, in other words, all right, call us 3 months ahead of time. We'll try to get you in. Right? We'll only pull your shit if you give us all the information ahead of time. But because then they turn around and say, but because of the high demand,
if they have time.
Do what?
I said, if they have time, they will. If they don't, then they won't.
So you're just going to show up and none of your stuff's been pulled, right? But
yeah.
This part, due to high demand of ad hoc day of pulls, right? Okay, first they're telling you we're not going to pull anything unless you contact us 3 months before and give us all the info, and we're going to pull it before you get here. But apparently for other people get to pull shit day of, It's like, we may be too busy to fuck with you, but, take the chance. So,
and they'll even give you a virtual assistant. Welcome to the archives, Mr. Campbell. Please have a seat. My name is Joe. I will be virtually assisting you today. What records would you like to see?
Oh, man, I was hoping it was going to be something like Valentina or, Veronica. I am your virtual host, Veronica.
Hi.
But
hi.
Yeah.
Come on in. My name's Dago. Have a seat, boy.
No,
what you want to try to look at today, son? You just eating your stuff.
Is this
have a seat.
Dago's big sister? Is that what that is?
We're serving roast beef sandwich.
Roast beef sandwiches. Well, so that's what I had there, Rob, about the
smothered in gravy.
Smothered in gravy. That's the best kind right there, man. The best kind. Nice and warm.
With a side of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, and a big fat biscuit to sop it up with when you're done.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, that's about all I had, Rob. New developments regarding the still redacted, still withheld JFK assassination records. So, man, if the listeners can put up with our obvious patchy Wi-Fi problems we're having today, again, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, my friend.
All right, Doug. And speaking of records, buddy, I have the top 10 records released under the JFK Act list, according to researcher William Kelly from his blog, JFK Counter Coup.
Bill Kelly. You remember Bill Kelly? He was, your podcast isn't real because I can't read it.
Yes, and he desperately needs an iron. Iron those slacks, sir. God damn.
Wow,
and here's a comb.
man.
Brush your hair.
Okay. Hey, so these are the top 10 that he thinks are the most important, right?
Yes, he calls them smoking docks.
Ooh-wee.
So we'll start off with the first one here, and this one is called...
Forget his burger dress! Where am I? Do you know where I live? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You got me all fucked up now. Oh, Lord.
That shit's better than Dago. Hey, we're going to write a folk tune called The Ballad of Willie and Dago. What do you think?
All right.
Compose ourselves. Here. Yeah, let's get it together.
Him. Okay. All right, Doug. first smoking dock is what he refers to as the Higgins Memo.
The Higgins Memo.
Yes, sir. Are you familiar with the Higgins Memo?
Not off the top of my head, no, sir.
Okay. Me either. So, considering this is what he prioritized to be the number one smoking dock in all of the records released under the JFK Act, okay, since 1992. So
this is number one on his hit parade. Number one.
Yes, this is numero uno.
All right.
And it concerns a Joint Chiefs of Staff meeting at the Pentagon on a significant date, that being September the 25th, 1963, which is about, 2 months before the assassination actually takes place. Now, the key paragraph in this memo, this Department of Defense memo, concerning a Joint Chiefs of Staff meeting is this. Pardon me. He commented that there was nothing new, quote, he commented that there was nothing new in the propaganda field. However, he felt that there had been great success in getting closer to the military personnel who might break with Castro, and stated that there was at least 10 high-level military personnel who were talking with CIA, but as yet not talking to each other, since that degree of confidence has not yet developed. He considered it as a parallel in history, i.e. the plot to kill Hitler, and the plot is being studied in detail to develop an approach. Okay?
So this is, Mr. Kelly is fond of the Valkyrie plot. The Valkyrie plan to kill Hitler was adapted to fit JFK. Yeah.
Now, this detailed study they're referring to in this document, D.C. Attorney Jim Lazar, head of the Assassinations Archives and Research Center, and Dan Alcorn filed a FOIA request for that, quote, detailed study, and the CIA apparently have lost it. Now, big shocker there. But why is this date significant of the Joint Chiefs of Staff meeting? Well, for a lot of reasons. If you look at the JFK assassination chronology, it occurs around the same time as some other key events, including the day Oswald left New Orleans for Mexico City, the estimated time of the Odio incident, Ruth picks up Marina, including the rifle, and takes him to Texas. It is also the day President Kennedy signs National Security Action Memorandum on the advice of the National Security Advisor McGeorge Bundy, approving 4 Leaves, a secret military communications project. JFK then left on his conservation tour, the first stop being the Northeast Pennsylvania home of the mother of Mary Meyer, JFK's secret lover, who accompanied him on this excursion. Also, Oswald's name turns up on the list of those who visited the Tennessee Nuclear Museum, and news clips of the tour are found in a box at Oswald's rooming house.
Now, what do you think? What do you think about that? About this? About Oswald showing up in Oak Ridge, Tennessee? What's your opinion of that?
Well, here's my opinion, Doug. It looks a hell of a lot like his signature. If you were to compare handwriting analysis, of course, I'm no expert, but I do have eyes. And it doesn't hurt that he had news clips of the tour in a box at his rooming house, lending some credence to the fact that he went there. So unless they were planted, that's pretty significant.
And see, that's one guy's clear evidence is another guy's planted evidence in our world, it seems. Right. But now I think I agree with you that it's entirely possible, maybe even probable, that it happened. But I don't think he was carrying yellow cake or uranium back in his diaper bag like what's her face claims. Nothing of that nature occurred. No. But all right,
one
cool.
giant rock of uranium under his ball sack in his taint.
But this is all Odio incident, Oswald, Mexico City, so mid-late September of 1963 then.
Yeah, but there's all this other shit going on at the same time too, Doug. Like Richard Case Nagel shot a gun in a bank in El Paso and wanted to get arrested, ostensibly to be in federal custody by the time of the assassination. Also, at this time of this meeting, General Maxwell Taylor was in Vietnam. So Air Force Chief of Staff General Curtis LeMay chaired this meeting. The author of the memo, Colonel Walter Higgins, was the adjunct of Colonel Victor Krulak of the USMC, the Director of Military Detachment, responsible for providing any assistance requested by the CIA in the course of their covert intelligence ops. Desmond Fitzgerald, the CIA officer who briefed the chiefs on CIA covert ops against Cuba, had replaced William Harvey as chief of Task Force W, the Cuban project, based in the basement of CIA headquarters, and was a case officer for Dr. Rolando Cubella Amlash, a founder of the DRE who the CIA considered their best bet to fit the disgruntled Cuban military officer who would lead the assassination attempt and coup. Fitzgerald said, yeah.
That guy, Cubella, you know, he's like one of those, he may have very well been like a triple agent kind of guy, you know. Fidel obviously knew that there were plots to kill him. And I don't think that, I'm not very convinced that Cubella was 100% loyal to CIA and you know, not Castro.
No.
I'm sure that Castro probably learned of more than one plot to kill him from Cubella. A lot of people would disagree with me on that, but man, he's just one of those guys I don't know if I trust what he said, you know. Not to the extent that I distrust somebody like Antonio Veciana, but you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, and the proof is in the pudding. You know, Castro managed to ditch and dodge every assassination attempt against him.
He did.
And lived to a ripe old age. So, now in this memo, Fitzgerald said that this adaptation of the plot to kill Hitler was considered a part of the psychological warfare area, which included David Atlee Phillips, George Ioannidis, and the DRE agents who were arrested with Oswald in New Orleans. Curtis LeMay also introduces an Air Force communications officer who had devised a way to influence radio communications that were to be adapted for use against Cuba. The Pendulum Project is mentioned and described as the code name of the security net that surrounded the covert Cuban projects they were operating. The NSAM that JFK signed approving Project Ford Leaves, a military communication system, is only mentioned once in JFK's daily desk diary at the JFK Presidential Library. There is also mention of a textual letter that is so secret it could only be read and immediately returned to the messenger. This could possibly be a message from a George Bundy regarding security for the Cuban operations then underway or being considered. So that is what Bill Kelly thinks is the most smoking of docs.
Oh. I would love to. So this is now. Has this been released in redacted form, or is this already, 100%?
No, it's unredacted. It's on Mary Farrell. Anybody can go check it out.
Okay, so it's totally a redacted.
Sorry, Joe Bax, I don't have the riff number, but if you go. Just go to jfkcountercoup.blogspot.com and look for January of 2022, and you'll find that his top 10 records released. And for all these records, it'll have links to the actual document. If you'd like to follow at home alone. If you would like to follow along at home, folks, if I can speak.
Liberty Lobby.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, Doug. I figure we'll get through 5 of these, and then we take a break, and then come back, and I'll do the other 5 later. So
cool.
All right. Number 2 here is the HSCA interview with Warren Commission attorney Sam Stern. Okay. And
Okay.
I'm not too familiar with Sam Stern, but I guess he was a Warren Commission attorney, not quite as famous as like Beelan or any of those other guys. But
well, you have my attention because it's like Alan Dale says, the devil is in the details, and a lot of the times it's with stuff like this. They might be one sentence that jumps out and you go, aha, you know.
well, there's more than one sentence.
All right. Lay it on us.
So this is a quote from Sam Stern, HSCA interview. I am less certain now than at the time we wrote the report. Less certain, that is, that Oswald acted alone. Actually, I wasn't all that certain at the time. I thought the best evidence supported the final findings, and I agreed with them, but I wasn't tremendously firm or immovable in my own mind. I just thought there were a lot of straws left. I have become more skeptical about the Warren Commission findings and everything else that is a part of official life. I suppose everything has become discredited over the years since 1963. You don't really believe in things the way you did back then. Mr. Stern stated that, quote, at the outset, we realized there was no possible way to penetrate any official involvement in a cover-up or conspiracy if there was such complicity. Stern stated that he and several of his commission colleagues discussed what they regarded as, quote, the fact that the agencies, FBI and CIA, could formulate and maintain a cover-up which no one could ever penetrate. We, of course, did not believe that was so, and I still don't, but we realized what we were dealing with and the power of these agencies. Stern also stated...
yeah, something that we see, we just saw back on December 15th, didn't we? You know, fuck you guys,
right.
We're keeping the documents. Yeah.
Right. Stern also stated that he had been told of FBI agent Hostie's allegedly threatening note received from Lee Harvey Oswald shortly before the assassination. He, quote, would have regarded it as greater identification of the possibility of potential danger in Oswald, of violence. Stern stated that if the staff of the commission had discovered that the Hostie note had existed and had been destroyed by the FBI in Dallas, that, quote, if we had found out that happened, we would have gone to a full commission meeting immediately and would have made the big decision regarding any future relationship between the commission and the FBI. It just would have gone to the heart of the whole relationship and the Bureau's motivation. The destruction of that note would have resulted in the ultimate brouhaha.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. The fix was in, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe for him, you know, and maybe I'm not being fair. Maybe for him, he would have tried to raise the alarm had he learned, but, you know, I think there were a lot of other counsel in there like Bell and Inspector and, of course, you know, the cover-up artists behind the Warren Commission in the first place. Their protestations probably would not have gotten far. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Stern stated that had the commission learned of the CIA mafia plots to assassinate Castro, quote, we would have gone much more into Cuba, the CIA, and the mafia. We would have had a whole host of new avenues calling for investigation, and we would have obviously had to develop some new sources of information other than the agency.
Well,
when shown the CIA, yeah, go ahead.
Oh man, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say I'm going to be a little more fair this time. And just say, well, one would certainly hope that had you known X, it would have led them to do Y, like he just said. You know, one would hope so for sure.
Again, this is one dissenting voice on a big commission of people, much more important than him. So.
And how?
When shown the CIA memorandum of November 1963, in which a CIA officer wrote that the agency had once considered using Oswald for intelligence purposes, Stern stated that, quote, I have never seen this. I was never given this. And we had asked for and we were supposed to be given anything of relevance like this, end quote. In reading the memo, Stern stated that would have definitely been relevant. If the CIA were taking him that seriously, then you might think that others could or did also. if we found out that had been withheld, that would have been a major explosion as well.
Amen.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, we'll get to that document. When shown a copy of the 1960-61 memos regarding the, quote, possibility of an Oswald imposter, Stern stated that he had never seen these 3 memos either. Despite the fact that they would have certainly been relevant, I was supposed to have been given all relevant Bureau information and files on Oswald pre-assassination. They said I had everything. Obviously, I did not. So, number 3 is the CIA Soviet Division memo that says Oswald was once considered for operational use, known as the Thomas Kasasin memo. Right?
Yes, I am aware.
States,
I'm aware of the Kasasin memo. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 25 November 63, Redwood CIA Soviet Division had at one time an OI operational interest in Oswald. Number 4, the Secret Service Preventative Research Section file. Former Secret Service agent Gerald Blaine, in his book, The Kennedy Detail, writes, quote, the first stop before any advance was always the PRS, located in the Executive Office building next door to the White House. The PRS office was the nerve center for tracking threat cases. Anytime there was a threat made against the president's life, whether it was a letter, a phone call, details from an informant, field investigation, or an unstable person trying to get inside the northwest gate of the White House, an investigative report was initiated and a case file number issued. A PRS agent would type the report on carbon paper so there would be multiple copies noting the threat maker's name, address, synopsis of threats, description of the person, medical history if known. Cases are analyzed and categorized according to the seriousness of the threat. The records room of the PRS office contained rows and rows of gray metal 4-drawer file cabinets that held thousands of threat suspect files, organized by case number. There were smaller file cabinets where index cards of each subject were organized both geographically and alphabetically. The cards were cross-referenced to the case files. Thus, if you knew either the name or their last known location, you could go to the small index drawer, locate the card, which would have a case number on it, then go to the large filing cabinets and get the master file. Wynn Lawson had checked PRS for threat suspects in Texas, specifically in the Dallas area, and had been pleasantly surprised to find that, Doug, there weren't any.
0.
More likely than pleasantly surprised, he was incredulous considering U.S. Ambassador Stevenson had been physically assaulted a few weeks previous and known threats were coming in on a daily basis. Number 5 is a document about Collins Radio that the ARRB considered NBR or not believed relevant. But Bill Kelly thinks it is.
Oh, man, Collins Radio, they were, I mean, hell, in those documents that we talked about on the Dallas action recently, the Black Nine, it was literally Collins radios that they were shipping out to for MWorld, the CIA MWorld project, you know, and Collins generators for Collins radios. Yeah, they were entwined, dude, deeply, deeply, deeply.
So this Collins radio document says, while this document seems unconnected to the assassination in any way, Collins Radio comes up again and again throughout the JFK assassination narrative.
Yep.
Especially in regards to the Air Force One radio transmissions and the Tippit murder. As J.D. Tippett's good friend worked at Collins Radio and his car was seen near the scene of Tippett's murder with a man resembling Oswald behind the wheel. This document, lawyers' briefs for the taxing of American defense contractors working at a top-secret ELINT base in Australia, provides the proof that Collins Radio, LTV, General Dynamics had a very close working relationship. So those, Doug, are the top 5 documents, and we will get back to this list a little later on in the show for 6 through 10.
We should totally come up with this a top 10 list of our own for the show.
But, yeah, we should.
But dude, that would be it would be an ever-changing list.
Oh, totally.
You know, like if I put one together next week for the next episode, by the time the next episode rolls around, 5 or 6 of them would be gone, and there'd be, oh, well, I forgot about that. But, yeah, thank you for that, Rob. And, I wanted to point out something, dude, about the Kara Meeson's memo you were discussing a while ago, that the quote, the Soviet Russia division at one time had what they called operational interest in Oswald, right?
Yeah.
I just want everybody to now keep in mind when they use the phrase operational interest, they don't mean that we're watching him and we're interested in using him in an operation, all right? It's more like when you say someone has interest in a building or a business, right? He has a 30% interest in. That means you are actively involved and have a stake in that business. Is what?
Right.
Okay. When they say operational interest, Rob, is in that context. If the guy says they had operational interest in Oswald, they were using him operationally. It's not they're thinking about it and keeping an eye on him. Okay. So, yes, that is smoking gun-esque, 100%. Yeah.
Agreed, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, look, we're going to take a break, and we will come back with more quick hits on the JFK assassination right after this.
The next time you visit lovely Austria, stay at Farker's Head Roadside Motel. Ask for our presidential suite, where redneck podcasters stay rent-free.
Hey, Doug here, taking a minute to give you a heads up. An all-new issue of our favorite history periodical is dropping, guys, and that is issue number 11 of Garrison, the Journal of History and Deep Politics, from Midnight Rider News Publications at midnightridernews.com. That's writer with a W. Not a passenger on a horse, but one who commits language to paper. Midnight Writer, WRITER, news.com. This all-new issue, number 11, features a ton of articles from the realm of history and deep politics, such as John Brisson introducing us to the Finders, Ed Tatro on Lyndon Johnson and the Silver Star scam, William Weston on the CIA and the Texas School Book Depository, Jefferson Morley on Greenwald, Trump, and the JFK files, and of course our friend Larry Hancock on the RFK assassination. Also, Midnight Rider News founder S.T. Patrick on the independence of Tulsi Gabbard, and much, much, much more. That's issue number 11 of Garrison, the Journal of History and Deep Politics, from Midnight Rider News Publications, available at midnightridernews.com as of October 14th. Order your copy now. Go on, get. And welcome back to Quick Hits, a JFK Assassination Research News and Notes podcast. This is part B of number 41. And now back to Mr. Rob Clark with Mr. William Kelly's top 10 list of smoking documents. Hey, Rob.
Thank you, Doug. We're up to number 6 now.
Number 6.
And this is a Drew Pearson dinner with Khrushchev. Okay.
Oh, I've read about this. Yeah.
The Soviet Premier Khrushchev told Drew Pearson and his wife over dinner that he did not believe the Warren report and criticized and suspected American intelligence agencies of involvement in the assassination. Rather than write a, quote, Washington merry-go-round, end quote, column on this incredible scoop, Pearson instead reported it to the FBI, who noted, quote, Pearson repeated that the reaction of Chairman Khrushchev and his wife was one of flat disbelief and archetypical of the universal European belief that there was some kind of American conspiracy behind the assassination of President Kennedy and the murder of Oswald. He could not believe that the affair had happened as it apparently did, and Mr. Pearson made no headway whatsoever in trying to change their belief that something was not on the level. Khrushchev greeted Mr. and Mrs. Pearson's efforts with a, quote, tolerant smile.
like, yeah, whatever, Rube, you know?
Yeah, okay, dipshit.
Exactly. Just
Number 7.
Nod and smile at the naive American.
That's right. And this is a Jack Anderson on Jim Garrison, Tolson, Cartha Deloach memo from April 4th, 1967. Clyde Tolson, Pearson's protege, also reported to the FBI rather than write a column after dinner with Jim Garrison, according to an FBI report. Jack Anderson came to see me at 11:55 a.m. today. He has just returned from New Orleans, where at the invitation of DA Jim Garrison, he interviewed Garrison for approximately 6 hours at his home. Jack Anderson and Garrison later had dinner at the Latin Quarter restaurant in New Orleans.
Okay.
Anderson stated that he went to New Orleans fully prepared to present a hostile viewpoint to Garrison. After listening to Garrison for approximately 90 minutes ramble on, he began to believe Garrison's story. Anderson
really?
described Garrison as a very convincing talker who has considerable facts at his disposal. Anderson now believes there is some authenticity to Garrison's claims and future plans. Garrison told Anderson that he will undoubtedly hold a full-scale trial within 6 months. Shaw at this point already had been approved by the CIA through an appropriate cutout to engineer a plot that would result in the assassination of Fidel Castro. I also told Anderson that while we, of course, would accept any information that he was voluntarily given to us, we at the same time would not take over Garrison's, quote, dirty laundry. Anderson told me that if the Bureau had any change of policy in the above regard, he would appreciate knowing about it. I told him we would keep his offer in mind, however, there would be no change of policy. Anderson told me that he had discussed this entire matter with George Christian, the president's press secretary at the White House. He stated that Christian was also convinced that there must be some truth to Garrison's allegations. Christian told Anderson to get in touch with the FBI. Anderson stated that he had already been planning to do this, but that he now especially wanted to advise us of the full facts because of Christian's request. So there, Diary of a Snitch, Jack Anderson.
Diary of a Snitch.
Yeah. Number 8, the Roselli chronology file, Doug.
Oh, you know what? I think I have that in a PDF form in my research stuff somewhere.
Nice.
I think it's a thick
So once
one.
again, yeah. What'd you say?
Oh, I just said I think it's a thick file. I think it's a big one. Lots of pages.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Ba-doom.
Drew Pearson's protege, again, Jack Anderson, also interviewed Johnny Roselli. Immediately after he testified in secret congressional hearing about his CIA Cuban activities, 4 plots to kill Castro, and his case officer, William Harvey. The CIA has maintained throughout that the Oswald 201 file was a complete compilation of the material related to the assassination of President Kennedy. However, information relating to who Lee Harvey Oswald was and what he was doing are not included in the files. The Oswald 201 file does not attempt to question Oswald's connection with both pro-Castro and anti-Castro groups, or any of the AIM-LASH information. The most notable subject missing was information related to CIA U.S. government attempts to assassinate Fidel Castro. Note, Anderson's story begins on page 27, and the Roselli chronology begins on page 38. Anderson, quote, So here is Rosselli's own account of a real-life Mission Impossible, the attempt to kill Castro. It's a story of cash payments, poison pellets, high-powered rifles, and powerboat dashes to Cuba.
Yep.
Huh. Number 9, the NSA defectors Martin and Mitchell. Okay?
All right.
This is a report from inside Russia on NSA defectors William H. Martin and Baron F. Mitchell. Confirmed they went to Moscow via Mexico and Cuba, the same route Oswald wanted to take. It also shows how the CIA and NSA dealt with real defectors. Number 10, the NPIC Pathfinder document. SecU 122 security file on Frank Sturgis. All right.
So we have a Pathfinder document on Frank Sturgis. That's interesting.
Yeah. But it's also NPIC, right? Which was the National Photographic Institute, whatever the NPIC thing is, right?
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. That's, yeah. Was that was in Florida, right? Or no?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it might have been, well, let's see what it says here.
Yeah.
It says in this document, improperly inserted in the middle of Frank Sturgis's security file.
I'll be damned.
Okay, so this is a Pathfinder document that had been inserted into the middle of Frank Sturgis's security file. Okay, it is noted that, number 1, on March 19th, Dino Brugioni, Chief Western Geographic Division of the NPIC, informed me, the CIA Operational Divisional Chief, that 3 personnel assigned to his division had told him that while serving at JM Wave, Miami, Florida, or in the Imagery Analysis Service in Washington during the 60s, they had heard references to assassination plans on Fidel Castro. Number 2, on March 20th, I met with the following NPIC personnel who had either served in the Imagery Analysis Service or at JM Wave on Cuban-related problems: Gordon Duvall, Earl Shoemaker, Tom Helmke, Bruce Barrett, Reyes Ponce, George Arthur, Eugene Lydon, and William Hanlon. The purpose of this meeting, the purpose of this meeting was to ascertain whether their participation was related to case officer generated materials or bona fide operations. That's 8 witnesses, not 3. Number 3, there appeared to be 2 plans involving Fidel Castro and an incident that may have been related to Raul Castro. Number 4, the incident involving Raul Castro was not a formalized plan. It consisted of a paramilitary raid on Santiago de Cuba harbor. There was a rumor at JM Wave that while exiting the harbor, Raul Castro's home had been fired upon by a paramilitary case officer named Rip Robertson.
Ah, shit. Here we go.
Yeah.
That guy.
Number 5, to the best of my knowledge, these facts represent the totality of any participation by our personnel in these matters. We have no further knowledge that the Fidel Castro operation ever advanced beyond any planning stage, Doug. Okay?
Okie dokie.
Horse shit.
Oh,
Signed,
wow, man.
Edward S. Cates.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chief Imagery Exploitation Group, NPIC. And Mr. Kelly goes on to say, while it may not have officially, quote, advanced beyond the planning stage and was not implemented against the original target, Fidel Castro, that Pathfinder was an off-the-shelf tactical plan that could have, and I believe was redirected to JFK and Dealey Plaza, and further analysis can prove me right or wrong. It appears that Rip Robertson ride-by shoot-up of Raul Castro's home had already taken place, and the 2 Fidel Castro operations were formalized into distinct plans that, according to the NPIC, didn't advance beyond the planning stage. And there were plans to kill Castro known to the NPIC text. 2 of them specifically, according to this NPIC chief, the plans involving Fidel to the knowledge of our people were A folder stored in the photo interpretation area at JM Wave contained materials relating to a plan to assassinate Castro in the Bay of Pigs resort area, where he maintained a yacht and was known to vacation and entertain beautiful young women. The plan, possibly with the code word Pathfinder, apparently had been disapproved and was not under active consideration at the time. Our people did not participate actively in the plan in any regard. Now, while assigned to the Imagery Analysis Service, a number of our photo interpreters supported Carl Jenkins of the DDP concerning a plan to assassinate Castro at the DuPont Varadero Beach Estate east of Havana. Now, we've all heard of Carl Jenkins before, right, Doug?
Yep.
And this goes from the Wheaton lead and all that. So Castro was known to frequent the estate, and the plan was to use a high-powered rifle in the attempt. The photo interpretation support was restricted to providing annotated photographs and line drawings of the estate. To our knowledge, his plan was also never implemented. All right.
All right.
And he gives us a couple bonus docs. And one is concerning Carl Jenkins. It says, when the Assassination Records and Review Board interviewed former NPIC Secretary Velma Ruman, she said that Robert Kennedy had ordered her to box up the NPIC records on the assassination, apparently including Pathfinder documents, and convey them to the Smithsonian Institute rather than NARA, where they belonged. That's weird. Huh?
That's very weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And another one, in response, the CIA wrote back concerning assassination plans against Castro. They asked the Directorate of Operations for any available information on Pathfinder. Both efforts were fruitless. No one in the Directorate of Operations recognized the cryptonym Pathfinder. In our search of other files in connection with staff activities, we came, just by chance, a reference to Pathfinder in an FBI memo dated January 20th, 1961 concerning Frank Sturgis. We are unable to offer any speculation, reasonable or otherwise, on its significance in this memorandum or in the MPIC memorandum, or why it was inserted into the Frank Sturgis file.
It just happened to be in the Frank Sturgis file. Wow.
Yeah. Because these were in-house agency communications between one division of the CIA and another, and was not shared with the Church Committee. The official folder on Mr. Carl Jenkins that was reviewed was not subject to the JFK Act and is not in the JFK collection at the National Archives, nor available to the public. And because Jenkins is still alive, it is not subject to the Freedom of Information Act. Because Jenkins is still alive, we can and will try to interview him.
Yeah, Morley talked to him last year. Jefferson Morley interviewed him, but it was a short article, and I don't know if he was didn't want to scare the guy away, asked the tough questions, but he didn't get, maybe he got more in-depth than he's letting us know now. Maybe he's going to write something else. But I would love to talk to Carl Jenkins. Holy cow, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And William Kelly wraps this all up with this one sentence that says a lot. It says, as we have seen here, the best records lead to new names, new events, and new records. And I definitely would agree with him on that for sure.
He's 100% right. Absolutely. But are all those smoking guns, you think?
I don't think so, no.
I agree with him on one or two.
Like I said, this is just one man's interpretation, you know. Other people are going to have different lists for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's gonna have a different list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because we can't agree on shit, can we?
No, I mean, I just thought it was interesting because I'd never seen a top 10, smoking gun document list before, and I was curious to see what he had to say about it, and I can't say that he was right, A lot of interesting stuff on there for
Absolutely,
sure that we
yeah.
didn't have before. Yeah.
I think that the Karameeson's memo regarding operational interest again is pretty significant. But we've got other significant. I think we've also got other documents as significant or more. We should put that list together for us, man. Like maybe just go over, do the back 5 one episode and do the top 5 the next or something.
I already got the number 1, Doug. You want to know what it is?
Go.
The Rowley memo.
Hell yeah. I named my podcast after it, man.
There you go.
There you go. Shit, the McCone Rally document. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What would, but that is something I would have to think about, and I would probably call other people and ask them what theirs are, and then may put it on my list, I think.
Yeah, it's fascinating to think about for sure. Yeah.
Smoking.
Like what's Bill Simpich's top 10,
Ooh, man.
What's Larry Hancock's top 10 documents?
That's a damn good question. One that we may put to some people. You know it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We might get a lot of mileage out of Mr. Kelly's segment there.
Yeah.
Between us and other people. Hey, man. I'm going to ask you if you remember episode 213 of the Lone Gunman podcast, Rob.
Well, considering 218 just dropped last week, it can't be that long ago. But no, I don't remember right offhand. Refresh my memory, Doug, please.
George Senator Power Bottom.
Oh, yes.
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 Dude, hey, man, that was a great episode. Fantastic. You during that episode, man, you shared a rough draft of a first chapter of a piece of quote-unquote faction that you were inspired to write. By the way, which I enjoyed very, very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
It was very good. And number one, here's the thing. I think you need to write that whole thing. You definitely need to write the whole thing. I want to fucking read it, man. I want to read the whole thing.
I will. I promise. It'll be my denouement to the JFK assassination.
Your what?
My denouement.
Okay.
That's French for I'm fucking done, and here's the last thing I'm doing.
That's French for y'all freaks have a ball, I'm out.
Here it is in fucking fiction form. This is what I think happened, and I'm done. Mic drop.
Mic drop. Hey, are you leaning away from your mic a little bit now?
No.
Okay.
I turned noise suppression on in our little thing here. Let me disable it. Does that make things better?
Yeah. A little bit.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
you're good now.
A fucking heater keeps running in this
man.
office and...
I think that's what I'm hearing when your mic opens up is your heater.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Turn it off.
I know how that goes, man. That's the whole reason I jumped in the soundproof booth this time was to try to eliminate some background noise, So
I'll turn it off. My nose will be running.
We don't want that.
Be sitting here shivering, and then the mic will be picking up my leg, jumping on the fucking desk.
And we don't need you getting snot on your new mic.
No.
That would call for a disinfectant.
Got to keep this thing nice and pristine.
Snot free. So let Rob have his background noise in his heater, guys. Don't bitch. We need him healthy.
A lot of spittle on it, though. A lot of spittle.
That is, man, that's a you thing. I don't know what to tell you there. But I was inspired, Rob, by you, because it's a very awesome way to put your thoughts and your gut feelings about how everything went down with the assassination. Put it down. It's a good way to finally faction. I love it. And you know how you and I have discussed on the show previous about a need for like maybe a fictionalized, written by possibly us, people of like maybe a limited Netflix series of like 10 episodes, something really cool, really modern, really up to date, that doesn't show Alan Dulles every 10 fucking seconds in the editing cut, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Dude, about 4 years ago, and you've actually read this, but you've inspired me to share something that I wrote years ago with you in the audience, finally. About 4 years ago, I started thinking about, one day just a movie, and much like you, I just decided to put things down. And much like you, the way you wrote one chapter, I wrote one scene, an opening scene. And I'd like to share it with you guys now, if I may. There's no title. And just like Rob said on episode 213 of the Lone Gunman Podcast, none of you bastards steal my shit. That's a quote. That's a direct quote right there. All right. So I do not have...
That shit's copyrighted.
Copyrighted by God, and time and date stamped on Spreaker, right?
Hell yeah.
That's right. So if you steal my shit, it's going to be on this episode on Spreaker and everywhere else, so you can't. You can't.
And we'll sue the fuck out of you.
Oh, my God. We will sue your ass off, and everybody needs an ass. You need it, so we'll fucking take it if you steal our... Okay, here we go. You ready? And I wrote it kind of screenplay-esque, which is interesting because I don't know how. So if the format's wrong, I apologize. But here's what I got. No name or title or anything. This is just an opening scene of a screenplay about the JFK assassination. Okay? Here we go, Rob.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Opening sequence. Credits. Underneath, Dean Martin's Ain't Love a Kick in the Head. The music. This sequence credits over black interspersed with quick shots of early 1963, Miami-Dade Airport. Shot of an airliner landing. A man, Dave number 1, tall, late 40s, prominent nose, lights a cigarette. Light-colored business suit, gray fedora, sunken, dark around the eyes, big toothy grin, no luggage. He's making his way through a busy airport terminal packed with bustling travelers. Loud, rude children, mad parents. Next shot, Dave 1 pulls out of a Hertz lot driving a baby blue convertible, 1963 Plymouth Valiant. Quick shots of the ocean, bikini-clad beachgoers, heavy traffic. Stoplight, looks left. An anti-Castro demonstration. 10 to 20 loud Cubans with signs. He smiles, sighs. Light changes. He pulls off. A fast-talking DJ on the radio. Then the Beach Boys. Driving slowly through Little Havana, small houses. Many Cubans, outside businesses. Music playing. Pulls car to the curb in front of a small bar. He looks up at the sign above the door. Sign reads, Zapata Cantina. Shuts off ignition. Mumbles to himself, fuck. Next sequence. From inside the small, gloomy, dark tavern, sunlight spills in as Dave number 1 opens the door and enters, removes his hat. We see a large, broad-shouldered Hispanic man, late 30s, crew cut, black on top, silver starting to show at sides, seated alone at the bar. This is Dave number 2. He's wearing khakis and a Hawaiian shirt. Aviator shades resting on top of his head. Cuban music in the background. He looks from his newspaper, motions to the bartender with his glass, puts cigar in ashtray to left of newspaper. Dave number 1 sits to the left, a tight shot of the whiskey glass. Dave number 2 thumps his newspaper. You see this? Look at this. Prominent Cuban exile arrested. Bartender fills glass halfway with wild turkey. Dave 1 nods at glass. Bartender returns with glass jug of milk, fills up the glass the rest of the way, drops a stir stick into the glass. Dave number 2 stirs drink, downs half, clears throat, looks at Dave number 1. For a brief moment, his eyes go steely cold, menacing, murderous. then smiles broadly, slowly. Turns back to the paper. Fuck you, Dave. He laughs and continues reading from newspaper. Cuban exile leader Arnulfo Trejo Mejia, former Cuban naval officer, was arrested and charged last night with multiple counts, including violations of the Neutrality Act, federal firearms charges, and violating the United States Justice Department's curfew limitations placed on certain of the more violent-prone exiles living in Florida. U.S. Customs agents raided a paramilitary training camp on No Name Key, just as Mejia and several other militants were preparing to launch another nighttime raid into Cuba, Customs official Cesar Dean said late last night. Dave 1 stares straight ahead, not looking at the other man. Dave 2 looks up. A shot of both men's reflection in mirror behind bar. Dave number 2. How many promises you personally make him? Remember? What was he? 2 days out of Army Ranger School? Maybe 3? Cut to battle scenes, 2 or 3, Bay of Pigs, mortars exploding, jets strafing beach, machine gun fire. Castro giving speech, etc. Tight shot of Dave 2's face. Dave 2. You promised him and his guys all kinds of shit. You were like Santa, and I had to be the asshole prick to break the fucking news about his brother. Black and white shot. Prisoner blindfolded on knees. Hands behind back, being slapped. Gun to his head. Dave 2 looks into his whiskey glass. 14 fucking years old, Dave. In a wheelchair. Ha! A wheelchair. But I don't got to tell you that, do I? He told you his goddamn self. That night you gave him all that cash. Ha! Dave 1 still staring at Dave 2 in the mirror, unblinking. Dave 2 leans into Dave 1, mouth inches from Dave 2's ear, and speaks quietly. Fidel and Raul had him build a prop for the kid out of 2x4s, Dave, so they could stand his crippled ass up for a firing squad. Dave 2 doesn't move. Dave 1 looks at him in the mirror, and without looking away, Dave 1 pulls a cigarette pack from his jacket pocket, shakes one out, lights with a Zippo. Turns around, looks at Dave 2, noses 2 inches apart, slowly exhales smoke directly into Dave 2's face. Dave 1, slowly. So I flew up here from Mexico on a goddamned Wednesday morning to watch the big bad El Indio get fucking hammered before lunch, cry in his drink like a little bitch. Dave 2 slowly leans back from Dave 1, eyes locked. Dave 1 leans in with an edge. You know, it's no goddamn wonder this whole thing's went to shit. This what you fucking geniuses do over here all day? 3 sheets to the fucking wind before 10 a.m.? Remind me again, Dave. What the fuck? Why the fuck is Barnett so scared of you? You got pictures of Dulles sucking a dick in your wallet? Their eyes stay locked for several silent seconds. Dave 1. Hello. Hey, you in there. Speedy fucking Gonzalez. Again, why the fuck am I here? Dave 2 seems to snap out of a daze. Suddenly, the alcoholic sheen is gone from his eyes. He's alert. He's back in the present. Dave 2. Because, Dave. Signals bartender, drops a bill on the bar, and stands up. Guys are fed the fuck up, and I'm not liking what I'm hearing. Turns and walks out the front door. Exterior shot of the front door. Dave 1 exits. Dave 2 is sitting on a bench smoking his cigar. Dave 1 sits down next to him without a word, without looking at him. Dave 2. Let me ask you something. Mexico City. You got the Cubans and Soviets wired for sound, right? Dave 1 rolls his eyes. Shut the fuck up, Dave. You already know this. Dave number 2. Yeah, I do. I'm supposed to. But how the fuck those guys know it out on No Name Key? And scene.
Bravo, sir. Bravo. And cut.
And cut. So you want me to cut the recording or
Love it.
You dig it?
I do.
You see where I'm going with that about No Name Key and having the embassies bugged and the consulates?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, not very many people know that. You know, less than a dozen. And I was thinking the next scene would cut to a dark-haired guy and a really tall guy in a 58 Oldsmobile cruising around Los Angeles looking for the Hathcock International Detective Agency in L.A. Right?
I love it, man. Yeah.
It just cuts to like they're driving around and Lauren Hall's in the passenger side with a notebook trying to write one of these speeches he's going to give at a John Birch Society thing, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think of this, Jerry?" And he reads, something propaganda-ish. And Jerry's, like, having none of it. He's looking around for this. Would you put that fucking shit down we're looking for? And he gives him the address. God damn, would you pay attention kind of deal. They go in and they pawn the 30-06 rifle. They leave. Where maybe the next scene cuts to I'm thinking this is early April, like early 63, maybe April, Then we throw something in about the Walker shooting. Then we got to show the mercenaries who, the guys who are eventually going to end up in Dallas. And then maybe the next scene is Dave One going to his boss in Mexico City. How many people know about the wiretaps? He's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on at that point.
Right.
Yeah. But that was 4 years ago, and that's all I've got. That's all I've got.
Maybe that you can write that as your denouement.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And you know what? If I were to write it and you and I were to put it together and like get some sort of development deal from Netflix, it would immediately become that word you said. Because we'd be doing that. We wouldn't have time to fuck around with a damn old Dallas action. Hell. We'd be too busy collecting Porsches and shit,
That's right.
Fucking A, man. Fucking A. All right, dude. That's I just wanted to share that with you and our dear listeners, sir.
Sweet.
Sweet.
You ready to do some emails?
Do we have? Of course I am. Ladies and gentlemen, the segment in which and from which we communicate and correspond with you. Emails.
Yes. Now, I think, Doug, on the last show, we were kind of trying to rush through them. We had so goddamn many. So this time it's not too bad. Well, we got plenty here, plenty to discuss. So the first one we have today, as I reach down in my sack and I scratch the sides of it, looking for something substantial, and I pull out this email from our buddy Kiyoshi7.jw.
Raising my Coca-Cola can to you right now, Kiyoshi. Thank you for writing, sir.
He says, "Hey guys, thanks for some great content on all three podcasts. I have just recently discovered Josiah Thompson, not Thompson.
Who the fuck is that guy?"
Kiyoshi got me all fucked up. I'm trying to pronounce Japanese names and shit. Okay.
Liberty Lobby.
I have just recently discovered Josiah Thompson. He has actually said some things I have not heard before. Is he legit, Doug?
I think for the most part, he is absolutely legit.
Yeah, I would say this, Kiyoshi. He's one of the few first-generation researchers still around. He is at this point a day older than dirt, but still active actually recently active and after spending a good 30 to 40-year hiatus away from the case. He's the author of some good books. Of course, one of the early ones, Six Seconds in Dallas. And he's written some detective novels in the meantime, and then most recently, Last Second in Dallas. And I had the pleasure of having a beer in Dallas in 2019 with him and my buddy Matt Dowdett in a bar there at the conference.
Oh, wow.
Which was pretty cool.
That was fun, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he admitted, he said, look, he's talking about his new book. His new book hadn't even come out yet. And he was telling us about it. And he was like, look, I fucked up in 6 seconds in Dallas. And I'm going to make it right, 50 years later with this next book. And I would also encourage everybody, I think I put it out on the Lone Gunman from the Vault, if you'd like to auditorily hear it. But I believe it's called JFK Unresolved. And it's actually a YouTube video as well that Josiah Thompson and a news agency, I think somewhere in San Francisco, put together. And it's all about his new book and his new observations, what he got wrong, what he got right. And I would highly recommend checking that out, Kiyoshi, when you get a chance.
I watched it twice, or I let you know, I viewed it, listened to it twice on your feed. It's very, yes, Kiyoshi, you need to check that out, dude. It's very informative. And let's give him some props, Josiah Thompson, because like you said, Rob, he said, you know what, my first book got messed up. I'm going to redo it. I'm going to do it right this time. We need more authors to do this, honestly.
Yes, for sure. Next up, we have another email. I believe we had 2 last time from Ashley Wood, our new lady friend from Brexit Island, as she called it, I believe, from down under. Maybe she's talking about England shit. I don't know. Or I want to say it was Australia, though. I don't know. Either way.
Maybe.
She says, hi, guys.
Oh, wait, that's in Alabama, Rob. It's actually in Alabama.
Hello, guys. I'd just like to say that what first got me reading about the JFK assassination was in the late 80s when, as a teenager, I heard a bootleg tape of the Byrds at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967. Introducing He Was a Friend of Mine, David Crosby went into a rant about how the truth was covered up and it wasn't the work of one man.
Hey.
Regarding, yeah.
He passed away recently, and I did see that. I read that story for the first time, Rob, recently. Yeah.
Being a great fan of Crosby's music, both his writing and incredible harmonies, I thought I ought to check it out and bought Tony Summers' book, which had come out fairly recently. Here I am, 35 plus years later, writing to you guys, still following the case as I know he did, and found out last night that old Cros had died. He pointed me to the truth, taught me some aspects of harmony, and made some truly beautiful music. Any musicians out there, tune your guitar to EBDGAD, roll a fat one, and figure your way out of that avenue. R.I.P. David Crosby.
What a cool email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, Doug, to tune your guitar to EBDGAD?
It's just an open tuning.
I know you know what roll a fat one means.
What is that? Is it like kick a fat guy down a hill? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Egads.
Egads. Thank you, Ashley, for that email. Keep them coming. We love to hear from you.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I'm more of a carburetor infused appliance guy myself. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah. Carburetor equipped, I should say.
Yes. All right. Next up, we got an email from AC, our old buddy AC. It says, Rob and Doug,
Yo, AC.
I think it's awesome to see the cross-pollination going on when y'all appear on other podcasts and spread well-researched and solid info regarding the JFK assassination. In particular, it's encouraging to hear y'all on shows like Out of the Blank, which overall reaches the ears and brains of a younger crowd. Not that we're by any means old sons of bitches yet, but it's cool to hear y'all helping them save time and avoid getting caught up in some of the pitfalls our generation of researchers went through. The typical this group, that group only stuff, LBJ only stuff, the cover-up and conspiracy were one and the same stuff, putting all your eggs in one basket based on the words of a single individual who claims to be in the know stuff involving words like general consensus, etc. Keep up the great work and know that each of you are doing solid work in keeping the torch of JFK assassination research lit and passed on to others. Sincerely, AC. P.S. Anyone disagreeing with the above-mentioned synopsis may feel free to suck a consensus dick. Oh, that's what we do, AC. We puff and pass that torch of JFK assassination research, my friend.
That's
Keep
right.
it going.
We repeat everything we read and learn. We might not understand it, but you guys are going to hear about it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you, AC.
All right, this next one is not a real email, Doug. It's from fucking Danny.
Who's Danny?
At Station Hill Studio. He is offering us, okay?
All right.
Danny, I hope this email finds you well. My name is Danny. I am the co-owner of Station Hill Studio, a podcast editing services company. Your podcast, Quick Hits, could definitely use some high-quality audio engineering. Well, fuck you, Danny. How about that?
Whoa. What did he call it? What did he call it again? We could use some what?
High-quality audio engineering.
We don't need your 8th grade poetry here, brah.
For real. For real.
Our team of experienced audio engineers specializes in enhancing audio recordings to meet industry standards and exceed the expectations of your listeners. Our services include cleaning up imperfections, noise reduction, equalization, compression, and volume leveling to ensure a seamless and engaging listening experience for your audience.
How about ball licking? Is that a service you provide, Danny?
Make sure you get the taint while you're down there, son.
That's right.
We pride ourselves on delivering fast turnaround times and exceptional customer service, ensuring that your podcast is edited and delivered to you within your desired time frame. Our team is dedicated to working closely with you to understand your specific needs and requirements.
I got one specific need I need out of you, Danny.
In addition to our audio services, we also offer professional video editing services to enhance the visual appeal of your content. Well, we don't need that, Danny, so go eat one there. If you're looking to enhance the audio...
We literally could not possibly be more visually appealing. Sorry, Danny. You fucking struck out again, pal.
If you're looking to enhance the audio quality of your podcast and take your content to the next level, we would love the opportunity to take your money and discuss our services with you further.
Well, if the answer to that question is get the fuck off Skype, we're way ahead of you, Danny. Way ahead of you, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you for considering Station Hill Studios for your podcast editing needs. We look forward to the opportunity to work with you. Best regards, Danny. Hey, Danny. Go fuck yourself.
Wow.
Hashtag
man.
GFY.
Momo's just shaking his head in there. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure Momo's highly fucking offended by this email.
I don't think he pays you and I enough attention to know what the fuck we're talking about, to be honest. And now he's shaking his head. Like, no, I don't.
Put the blunt down, Momo. Jesus Christ.
Dude, he's got a racehorse betting for him. That's what he's back there fucking with right now.
He's like, hey, what? You guys say something about me?
See,
Oh.
nothing. Fucking nothing. He's just looking down with his ink pen. Fuck.
It's hard to find good help these days, Doug.
I wonder if he's even recording this. He won't even look up. Fuck. Okay. All right, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
All right. Well, we can only hope.
Yeah.
All right. Next up from our buddy Joe Borelli. Oh, Joey B. Here we go. Hi, guys. And thank you again, Joey, from your familiar last-minute email before we decide to record. I always got to let Joey know when we're recording so he can send an email in at the last fucking second.
Man, I a little bit of that's my fault because I'm constantly like finding out on Messenger that Joe messaged me like 3 weeks before and I missed it. So it's on me. Sorry, Joe. I'm so sorry, buddy. You're such a loyal listener, and sometimes I feel like I treat you with disrespect, and I apologize. Please forgive me.
I know. We love Joe. He says, hi, guys. I want to give Rob his props for finding another Jay Martin in his George Senator Power Bottom Lone Gunman episode a month ago. This Jim Martin was another lawyer who met at Ruby's apartment the night that he shot Oswald. I think that puts us at 12 or 13 Jay Martins in the assassination nexus, and I plan on making a PowerPoint presentation on all of them soon. Now, Doug, full disclosure, I did offer Joe Borelli to come on the show when he gets all his shit together and do a show with us about all these goddamn Jay Martin names. Okay?
He
John
don't have
Martin,
time
James
to fuck
Martin,
with us.
Jim Martin.
Dude, he ain't got time to fuck with us. He's in the Mediterranean, man. He don't have time for you and I.
Oh, he'd be fine. He would make time for us. Trust me.
He's a world traveler, dude.
He's going to make a PowerPoint presentation, Doug. I'm telling you, he's into it.
Okay.
He's very into it.
He's like
he loves this shit.
He's like a jet-setting kind of fucking guy, man. He's like, where are you at? Well, I'm in Miami. Well, I'm in Italy. Well, I'm in Greece. Well, I'm in Tahiti. It's just, wow.
Don't matter where he's at. As long as that motherfucker's got good Wi-Fi, we're golden.
I know, man. But I wonder what he does where he gets to travel that much. And does he need an assistant?
Right.
Yeah, man.
Maybe he can sponsor Quick Hits, kind of like Wall Street Window. Brought to you by Joe Borelli.
From a different tropical location every month.
Yeah. Brought to you by Joey B. He's in Australia this month. And would like everyone to know that he really loves shrimp.
Yes. And avoid kangaroos. We talked about that on the last show. Them fucking things are scary.
And he's not had sex with a kangaroo yet.
What? Huh? What? Okay. I'm sorry.
What?
So, yeah, thanks,
Okay.
Joe. Yeah. So you were congratulating
Also,
Rob.
Yes. And he says, also, Doug, I think I've listened to your episode with Dr. John Newman 4 times.
Oh, wow.
It's so fascinating and really changed the way we should look at Angleton. The Phoenix program in Vietnam came up a few times, and my mom's boyfriend was in the CIA and worked in that program. Of course, I've tried to probe before and ask him if he ever knew or met CIA officers we are familiar with in our studies, i.e., Angleton, Morales, Phillips, Joanides. And when I got to David Morales, he commented, that dude was crazy. I didn't think much of it at the time, chalked it up to hearsay, but after listening, I realized they could have crossed paths in Vietnam or Laos. I'm going to ask him more about this and if he met Carl Jenkins or if there were any Cubans there. Maybe you, Doug, could help me come up with some more questions to ask him about it. It's not going to solve the JFK mystery, of course, but could give us some additional context and maybe another story about Morales or Jenkins. As always, keep up the good work. Joey B.
Joey, thank you for the email. And, man, wow, if I could think of questions for you to ask that guy, they would be more of a, and maybe probably not operationally, but I would try to come up with questions that were more of a personal insight type thing, to gain more personal insight into Morales. at this point. Yeah, man. Great email.
Hey, Momo, how we doing on time? I got like 4 or 5 more emails. I mean, what do you think?
You two been rapping since Moses was wearing short pants. Wrap it up.
What the?
Oh, fuck. All right.
Wait. What the fuck did you say?
You two been yapping since Moses was wearing short pants. Wrap it up.
Okay. Fuck. Fine. Momo's out. Yeah, he's obviously got fucking places to go. So, hell, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, if it's about quitting time, he'll answer.
That's exactly right.
Well, folks, if you would like your emails read and commented on here on the show by me and Doug, feel free to email your questions or comments to quickhitsjfk@gmail.com, and we will be more than happy to read and comment the like. So keep them coming, folks. We love them. We miss our old friends. So please come out of the woodwork and give us some good fucking laugh out loud emails.
That's right.
All right, Doug. Well, I guess Momo says we're done with emails, so fuck it, we're done with emails.
All right. Well, let's look. Here comes the music. Rob, why don't you start us out, dude?
All right. So you can listen to my show, the Lone Gunman Podcast, anywhere fine podcasts to listen to, even on YouTube. There's nothing to watch, but you can listen. I never understood that concept, but okay. A lot of people do. So keep that up, and while you're over on YouTube, make sure you hit the goddamn subscribe button. Okay, that would help. I'm almost to 1,000. I'm like 50 away from 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's crazy.
Hit the button.
Yeah, hit the goddamn button. Bang. And follow along on Twitter at The Lone Gunman 7. On Facebook, there is a Facebook page. It's called The Lone Gunman Podcast. Search for it, like it, and follow it. And you get notified anytime new episodes drop. And I sometimes interact with folks on YouTube comments and on the Facebook page. Sometimes, when I deem them worthy enough, or I just want to troll the fuck out of people. Doug.
Yeah, I get that, man. I get that. Yeah, guys, and you can catch my show. Oh, thank you, Rob. You can catch my show, guys, The Dallas Action, presented by Wall Street Window, everywhere you find quality podcasts, up to date, current, accurate, forward-moving research and study of the assassination of John Kennedy. Like this show, it is another fine podcast from Drop D Podcast Productions in the heart of Music Row, Music City, USA. So for Rob Clark, this is Doug Campbell saying tune in again next time when, upon being asked his opinion as to why Jim DiEugenio repeatedly, continually, and habitually just plain gets shit wrong in his book reviews, we'll hear Rob say,
He can't even look up and tell what street he's in, nor read the simplest directions for assembling a model aeroplane.
It's that
Boom,
bad.
we out.
It's that bad, is it? We are out.